Yo, this is Cruz coming again with an updated Exodia deck. As you all know, I run Exodia and Constellas, and yeah, I play Pokemon too. But I'm also known everywhere for my Exodia deck. And as you can tell, I run Exodia with appropriate combo and 1 day apiece. The whole deck is based off of appropriate. All the magic cards we both draw, therefore, since we both draw appropriate kicks in, and I draw 2 extra free cards. And go from there. So just do a quick run through. You should already know how my deck runs. And I have posting of the new types. I have pendulum monsters now. So we'll start off with the monsters. Of course, all 5 pieces of Exodia. If you get all 5 pieces in your hand, it's an automatic victory. Doesn't care about life points or anything. I run 2 Summoners Monk, chuck a magic, bring a monster out, exceed. I exceed for 4. I mainly search for star drawing. What this card does is if you use it as an exceed material, the exceed monster gains the effect of drawing a card, so that's more draw power. And I'll show you the monsters that go with it. I tacked in 2 blue dragon summoners. Pretty much it's like an emissary if you know what it is. You send when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you search for this one. You search for dragon, warrior, or spellcaster normal monster from your deck to hand. Pretty much one of the limbs of Exodia. While emissary says the same thing for level 3 or lower normal monster, but both of you search. Just for search power. He's new and better because you search by yourself. You won't give your opponent advantage. 2 maxis. Since everything special summons, self-explanatory. Chuck. Every time they special summon, you draw. That's more draw power. And only one of each. Time Gazer Magician and Stargazer Magician. When they're in the pendulum zone, you can special summon between 1 and 8, which is pretty much between anything from 2 to 7. And everything in here is special summonable. Run through the magics, 1 day apiece. Both players draw a card. The other person takes damage until the end phase of your opponent's turn. Sweet card. When it first came out, I played 3. And then they limited it. It was a good 2-year run with Exodia. And I still run Exodia regardless. Dark World Dealings. Both people draw a card, then discard. And if you have appropriate already activated, you draw 2 more cards. 1 day apiece is a good setup for it. You both draw, activate appropriate, and then go off with Dark World Dealings. Three hand destructs. Chuck 2 cards, draw 2. Have appropriate activated, you draw 4, or you can activate it off the jump. What I like to use to initiate my appropriate is Book of Eclipse. Set it. It's good for defending your deck. They summon a monster, Book of Eclipse. It goes face down defense. When they at the end of their turn, it gets flipped face up defense because it stays in the same position. Does not switch. Same position. Then they draw a card. Then since it's their end phase, you activate your appropriate. Then you go off with the other magics. I play 2 quick boosts. If this card is destroyed while face down, if it's destroyed while set on the field, you search a quick play. Also, let's say you have this face down, and you have hand destruction in your grave. They MST it. You can activate it. Bring hand destruction from your graveyard back into your deck. Also, since it's being destroyed, its secondary effect is if it's on the field and destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can search a quick play and bring it to your hand. So this searches for quick play magics, and you have a lot in here. The new card I teched in, Supply Squad. If one of your monsters is destroyed by battle or card effect, you draw a card. You have 3 of them on the field, you're drawing 3. There's only once per turn though. And 2 soul charge. Pay 1,000 life points. Special summon as many monsters from your graveyard as you can to the field, at the cost of 1,000 per. And yeah, that's risky, but an Exodia deck does not care for life because it's gonna win regardless. The key trap is appropriate. You can only activate this card when your opponent draws a card outside of their draw phase. After that, each player, the player who owns this card draws 2 cards. And to protect your deck, Dark Bribe, it negates and they draw. And since the last thing they're doing is drawing, you draw from appropriate, or you can activate appropriate. That's it for the monsters, magic, and traps. For the exceeds, 2 Revival Chain, you're gonna need 2. Pretty much, like I said before, summon this monk and start drawing. You draw a card, then you can detach and put a piece of Exodia, mainly the head, because everything else searches. The head of Exodia on top, that's the main card you want to get. And then next time you draw it, or if you can have the setup, you just keep playing magic cards and draw more. To recycle your monsters, just in case your monsters go to the graveyard, there goes to Emerald, pretty much like a mini pot of Avarice. You have 3 monsters at least in your graveyard, shuffle them back into your deck, draw 1 card. Those are the main exceeds you need for this deck. I also won Volvocosaurus and 1 Wind-Up Zenmayo. Because also, Star Drawing also states if it's used as exceed monster, you can make them 5. So if you have 2 Star Drawings on the field, make them both 5. Zenmayo, pop 2 of their cards. You could go offensive. You could go into Volvocosaurus, especially if you soul charge, pop their monster, do some damage. You know, you can make the deck is versatile. And then since you pendulum summon, you can bring anything with levels to the field. Not exceeds, levels, because exceeds have ranks. So I pretty much teched in 2 magical androids and 2 Guiltia, the D-Knight, since they're both 5. So you can go for the Constellar OTK I always play. Also, Underworld Fighter Balmung. When this card is destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you pretty much bring an emissary back and then search for a piece. But it's not really important. These are for the OTK, so pretty much since they're light 5, go into Pleiades, while the other one goes into Shark. Pleiades bounce one of their monsters, especially if they have one, bounce it, and then you overlay M7. You detach one of the attachments for Shark for him to attack twice, M7 attacks twice, then you go Gaia Charger. Now, since M7 can attack twice, it's 27 plus Gaia Charger 26 for exactly 8,000. So even if you just draw, like if you lose Exodia and you have the setup with drawing the 2 pendulum monsters, pretty much this will be your backup to just OTK them if you have game set up. Especially if you have Dark Brides face on, they don't really have nothing. This will be your backup contingency plan. And that is my Constellar Pendulum 2014 Exodia deck. Just hit me up with what you think of the deck and whatnot. Latest.